Gracie, thank you for stopping by at Poster Studio at 1 Billion Follows Summit. And what brings you here, first of all? Not to the studio, but to the summit.
Yes, so I work at a company called Epidemic Sound, and we were here last year, had no expectations, just came out to speak and loved it so much. So it was like the first thing on my 2026 calendar. I think 1 billion is so amazing because unlike a lot of other events where they're niched, this is creators and entrepreneurs from all over the world in all markets. So it's super inspiring to see old and new friends and just like build community here.
So you've been helping creators for all your professional life, probably. So tell us a little bit of what your company does.
Yeah, so Epidemic Sound is a music tech company, and we soundtrack all different types of content. So big brands like L'Oreal or F1 use us, but also big creators like Ryan Trahan or the Sidemen. And I'm on the creator side, leading creators at Epidemic. And our library of music is able to go across all socials, but also films and everything because we own the rights to everything. So soundtracking the world.
So you basically work mostly with the music creators, so creators who are creating music. Or
I work with the content creators, but we have, as much as we're a tech company, we're also a label. So our office, our headquarters in Stockholm, we have recording studios in the office and an A&R team. So we're just as much a tech company as we are a label.
I actually would like to dive a little bit into the topic of the panel discussion that you had. And that's primarily about, you were talking to two really successful creators. And the topic of the discussion was what happens after you've made it, right?
Yes, yeah.
So could you elaborate a little bit about what was the core sort of tension around this conversation?
Yeah.
So how would you define that?
Yeah, so we had Ollie White and Mai Wen, who have both been in the creator world for, I think, like 14 years, for sure more than a decade. And I think it's hard to build a long-term career. It's easy to have viral moments, or not easy, but more chance. And they have built something amazing. And I think it's all about like knowing who you are and what you do and when to pivot, and building a career of longevity, I think, is about that core of who you are, but also diversification. So we talked a lot about that in terms of how can you reinvent yourself and where do you invest and how can you grow over a long period of time.
It's interesting because you were talking to the creators who have already made it.
Yes.
If you look at Dubai landscape, we do have a lot of successful creators, but we also have a lot of creators who have started their journey and they're looking for the ways to like make it through, especially and that painful stage when you actually need to survive and also need to maintain that creativity and excitement aspect. So how do you see that journey actually? How do you see what are the biggest pains and how do creators usually globally overcome them, and how companies like yours, for example, are able to help them?
Yeah. So I think the way I see creators, which is a funny analogy, is like there's like nerd creators and jock creators. And if jock creators are creators that it's all about their personality and like they are the face, and if the nerds are trying to build a business where some of it is their face and their persona, but it's also like a lot of times more people around them, or they're trying to diversify. I think both can be super successful, but they're kind of very different lanes, if that makes any sense. And we work with both. I think what allows you to really make it is figuring out how you can create authentic content that's you, that only you can do, but also how do you monetize it and how can you make a living out of it that is sustainable, so you're not just like grabbing for all the opportunities in order to survive, like you said.
So, and what do you think when your audience is still small and you're growing? So what is the way for you to jump into that monetization journey so that it keeps you motivated and it actually keeps you expensive as well?
One of the things that I think has been awesome for a lot of our creators, and we have probably 2,000 maybe in our network that we work with in different ways, has been an affiliate program. So for Epidemic, any creator who works with us, if someone signs up to Epidemic, they get a commission on the people using our music. So for those creators, having that sustainable income in affiliate, which you can do with, I mean, of course, Amazon, but also on the music side, it's something that's kind of like passive evergreen revenue, where it's like, it's not as volatile as one-off brand deals. And for us, like, music can fit in any type of content. So having that sweet spot and being able to work with creators that are huge, that have already made it, but also those like baby creators that are just starting. allowing them to partner with us and use our music and support them from the beginning, like that's some of the most inspiring parts for me, is seeing people at the very start and then see them 5 years later when they have a business.
And how is the affiliate program works? I mean, because this is not a typical answer for our region. I'll be honest with you. Most of the models that work here are actually trying to grab a brand deal, for example, or let's say to go into a partnership or collaboration with a brand to create content based on their requirements, etc., etc. But I mean, obviously, the brand deals as well as the partnerships, they kind of define your creative direction a lot, but if you want to keep pace with your own identity, as you mentioned, your own unique abilities, probably something like an affiliate could work a better way. So if you could elaborate on that.
Yeah, I think it's both. I think we absolutely do tons of brand deals, and my approach to that is always letting creators lead the creative. For something like music, it's emotional and it goes in all different genres. So whether I'm working with an entertainment creator or food or tech, I want them to lead the creative. So whether they're small or macro, on the brand deals, as much as I can hand over the creative side to the creator, that's what we see works best as a brand in terms of course, the authenticity, but also like conversion and results. It works better. So brand deals are a huge part of it. And then I would say on the affiliate side, that is something that can be more of like an always on. It's our ambassador program. It's something that you can do alongside. And for something like Epidemic with music, it doesn't always make sense to do a traditional sponsorship because maybe your audience isn't aspiring creators or people that need music, but you as a creator still need music. So figuring out how we can partner with all the different genres.
That's an interesting thing. I think most of the creators who probably hear me here originally, they would be absolutely interested to see and to learn how they can partner with you, do the affiliate program with you. So how do you define? Let's say, do you actually have an eye for the creators? Can you say at the beginning, like for example, this creator is going to make it, and this will probably fade away? Do you have that eye? After so many years of
so many years in a way, but I also think the thing that makes this industry so exciting is sometimes you're wrong. Like a lot of times things that work super well I can spot, but also sometimes stuff comes out of left field where you're like, why is this working? And I think it does come down to authenticity and knowing who you are and what you want to say. I think that is like the commonality of people that I see when they're itty bitty and when they're huge, is that core of why you're a creator. It's not just like, oh, I just want to be famous and I want to be a content creator. It's like, I'm going about it and I'm coming into this industry and this social space to say something specific, whether it's tech or making art films or whatever. Knowing that core, I think, is what makes people succeed.
I love that, because it's actually, I mean, regardless whether you are a nerd creator or you're all about your own identity creator, it comes down to your uniqueness or unique values that you're bringing into.
Say.
Yes, what you want. I mean, sometimes having a conflict and not knowing what you want to say is probably the urge.
Yeah, but I also think being honest about that is then the authenticity. Maybe that is what you want to say. Like, I think about a lot of creators that came out of the pandemic, that people lost their job or whatever, and then they're sharing about that. They're like, I don't even know what I want to say or what I want to do, but in being honest and open with that is the authenticity, and people relate to that and they want that.
It's interesting what you said now, that a lot of creators were born, and probably actually creators economy as such boomed because of the pandemic, because people were stuck at home and they were nervous. They were trying to find a way, not actually to express themselves, but to at least, do something meaningful for themselves that particular time.
And it's like about freedom. It's like in anything with entrepreneurship, you're creating that future. And I think now in post-pandemic, like the creator economy is just the economy. It's like, it's touching everything. Every brand is involved. Yes, exactly. It's like, it's grown so much beyond what it was when I came into the space 10 years ago.
Yeah, it was probably what it was, by the way, 10 years ago. How would you, because for me, creators economy was something like, okay, all right, okay, there's a bunch of people who are doing a dance on TikTok and monetizing some,
Yeah.
and now it is the economy, right?
Yeah,
So,
it is.
So I mean, I'll be interested to hear what it was 10 years ago.
Yeah, so my background, I come from the traditional music industry. So I was a singer-songwriter myself, and I still make music. I made my first album when I was 10, and I toured all over. And when I was a creator myself, doing brand deals with Neiman Marcus or Coca-Cola 10 years ago, it looked so different in terms of, I was like one of the first creators getting verified on Instagram. And then it's like, now there's so many new platforms, and YouTube has evolved, and shorts, and all the different things. But I think coming from the music side and then coming into the creator economy with Epidemic, I think it's been really interesting to merge those two worlds of how music and storytelling come together. And for me, because I was on the music side and also a creator myself, I think I have a lot of empathy for creators in that evolution of like the good, the bad, the ugly, being the commodity, being the face, and being on the other side now as a brand. I think that allows me to understand the creator through all of the evolution and the constant change.
So because I've had a great idea today that content creation, or being a YouTuber, is not a life balance work. It's the 24/7 kind of job, or with no excuse. Like you cannot not to post a video on Thursdays if you're committed to your audience.
Yeah.
And actually, it made me think because I think a lot of people are actually taking content creation as something that can keep your life balanced, right? And it's the opposite.
Yeah.
So is this because it has got to do with the algorithm, and that's how some creators actually make it through, and some of them fade away? Is it because we are not taking the algorithm and the tech sides sort of seriously?
I think you can think about it in two ways. In one way, it's so easy to fall into the rat race, and there is truth to the algorithm, and it changes all the time. But it's like, now you should post 3 times a day, or now you should post long form or carousels or short form or on LinkedIn or whatever. And it's so easy to get into that hamster wheel. But at the same time, I think a lot of the creators that have longevity have figured out what that balance and sustainability looks like for them. For some creators, they have a huge team, they can post 3 times a day. For other creators, they can, or they're choosing not to. And I think that discernment and prioritization is how you last over a long time. We had a bunch of creators out in our headquarters in Stockholm in August, and one of the things that everyone was talking about is burnout and mental health, and how you can find that balance, especially for creators that have been in the industry for 10 years. You have to find something, or you will burn out. And holding both is true. Like, of course, there's things that you're missing out on if you don't post every day all the time. But also, do you want to do it in a burst, in a sprint, or are you running a marathon?
It's such a great thought that you're just sharing, because burning out for a creator, I think it's what can you do? You need to be creative. You need to maintain that sort of, and it brings me to actually a question. The question that pops up more often nowadays: how? Because creators, especially, have made it. The ones that you've spoken to on the panel today, they're not just monetizing through, let's say, brand deals, but they are building the whole business ecosystem.
Exactly.
Ecosystem. So how does that part work?
Yeah.
So maybe you can just shed some light into what are the ways to create those products behind the big content channels?
Absolutely. So one creator that comes to mind is Ali Abdaal. He's based in the UK, and we've worked with him for a long time. And I think it's like, for him, it's all the content in terms of everything that's going out on socials, but it's also, it's courses, it's books, it's so many things. And if you talk to him, it's all about his vision of what he's building as a business. It's him as a creator, but it's also like something that can live on beyond him. And I think having diverse monetization is how you build that freedom, where it's not only all relying on you and your face. And it looks different for different creators. For because she's in food, it's a cookbook. But for someone else, it could be a course, or creators are investing in other companies. There's so many ways to do it, but figuring out kind of what that suite looks like for you, I think, is how you build a business and not just being an influencer.
Being an influencer as well, also, as you said, relying only on the consistent content that you have to produce constantly without any excuse, whether you're burnt out or not.
Yeah.
One last question, probably to wrap up. What does it require a creator? How does it require a creator to transform? If you know what I mean. So being a creator, starting early, probably spending 10 years on YouTube, growing your audience. And actually, one of the thoughts that came to my mind when I was listening to the creators you were talking to, that it will never stop. The companies, it will never stop. Mm-hmm. It will always be not enough. There will always be a creator who's got a bigger audience.
For sure.
So it's your choice whether you're still enjoying or whether you want to, pay check, as May mentioned, for example.
Yeah.
So coming back to my question, what does it require a creator? How does it require a creator to transform, to be able to sustain a business rather than a content creation side only?
Yeah. I think the first thing is, it's how the saying goes, comparison is the thief of joy. And if you fall into that, it's never going to be enough. So it's about finding what your version of success and contentment is. But at the same time, the evolution always has to be there. So for us with music, like, one thing is around sonic branding, where it's like, what do people think of when they see your content, but also when they hear your content, and how can that evolve? And your own kind of brand, what it looks like, what it feels like, how it evolves over years, whether it's posting a TikTok or a long form YouTube video or making a Netflix show. I think about the Sidemen, who we've worked with for a long time, and them reinventing themselves again and again and again. And that group of guys who has been in the space for so long, like, now they're making a reality show that's on Netflix that's doesn't even barely have them in it. And I think as you can evolve, and for Epidemic, like, we want to be a part of creators' careers from that very beginning, when they're really small, to when you're making a Netflix show, and continuing to lean in and to evolve in your own way, and not get stuck in the comparison game, because it leads to nowhere.
I think it also requires a lot of business acumen, right?
100%.
You need to have the right team.
Yes, and Sidemen is that way. Like, Victor, who runs all of the business side, is an amazing guy, super smart. And I think surrounding yourself with the people that have that. Some creators are business people, but some aren't. And
Absolutely.
Your team is huge. The partners that you work with and the people that are your day-to-day building the business, I think, is the key.
And I honestly, sincerely wish to all of the creators struggling out there to see the potential of the creators economy. There's space for everyone, whether you want to go niche or whether you want to grow. I mean, there's always not enough at every stage. So, and it's the choice how to deal with this not enoughness, right?
And it's like no one is you. So if you can figure out what that is and be you in this industry, I think whether it's big or niche, there's people out there that will resonate with that will resonate with what the content looks like and sounds like and the music that you like and the things that you want to talk about. So just leaning into that, I think, is amazing.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much. I wish you all the best of networking here at the 1 Billion Summit. I saw you were like followed by lots of people. You're saying
so
hi
sweet.
to.
You're so sweet. Yeah.
So enjoy the rest of the time at the summit.
Thank you.
And thank you for stopping by here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.